at Super Mario Bros. Also, both Super Mario Bros. 3 runners at the same time. And I am personally, particularly, a little extra invested in this race because the winner of this race is going to go on to face me in the next round. So that's exciting. And we're off. Both runners going here. It looks like both runners are opting to take the mushroom in 1-1, which is an excellent safety strat for races. The Cole had a little bit of a stair boss right at the beginning there, but managed, it almost got him a 3 on the timer, but they noticed just before hitting the flagpole and slowed down a bit to get the 2. If you don't know, this game sometimes has a little fireworks celebration after a level, which takes time. And, casually playing, I never knew what actually caused the fireworks to happen. Skyhoppers going for an early busting up here in 1-2. Interesting go across the top safe strat. Very interesting way to bust up also. That is nifty. Did take him a couple tries to get up there. But now he is just on his way. Flying ends up just on the heels of the Cole, who stair bossed a little bit there as well, but remains in the lead, especially because Skyhopper's just got a 6 on his timer. Boom, boom, boom. This is what brings me right back to what I was talking about a minute ago. If you end a level with your timer's seconds digit on 3 or 6, you get 3 or 6 fireworks, respectively. So if you ever see a racer about to hit that timer, you'll notice they might slow down just before they hit the flagpole. What's more likely is that you'll notice them slowing down, and then you'll look up at the timer and see, oh, it was to avoid fireworks, as that happens quite frequently. Incidentally, you do also get 1 firework if your timer ends on a 1. However, that doesn't actually lose you any time, so no need to slow down for those. The Cole gets his opening shots on Bowser, backwards Bowser, which he nails. Skyhoppers also gets their opening shots, runs up to Bowser, just fires him right in the face. We have an excellent World 1. 261 on the timer for the Cole is excellent. 260 is only a Mario second behind that. So our race remains neck and neck here. And we start to get into some tricky platforming here with 2-1. This 2-1 has a lot of potential for accidental bonks. And it's also got this spring at the end, where this game, when you play it very fast, it has just a couple little oddities to it that weren't necessarily considered in the game's development, such as if you play the level very fast but do something just a little bit off, of which I'm not exactly sure of what it is, you can accidentally despawn that spring at the end, which not quite soft locks your game, but you do get stuck on it and have to wait for your timer to run all the way down, and it's just an absolute catastrophe. So you got to be careful at the end of 2-1. That's all I'm trying to say here. We're in 2-2 now. This is one other interesting thing is that everybody knows the water levels from Super Mario Bros. We know the music, we know that there's swimming, but what's interesting is that if you don't go into superfluous pipes, if you don't take superfluous subzones, there's only 2 water levels in the game, and they're actually the same water level, just with different enemy placement. And then, of course, there's the water section at the end of 8-4. But really not very much swimming in the game. Skyhoppers, unfortunately, did take a hit in 2-2. Very, very easy to do so. The sea life in the Mushroom Kingdom is nasty and unrelenting. As now we see that it's even jumping straight out of the water, assaulting the Marios as they come out of the water stage in level 2-3 here. Skyhoppers getting the mushroom that's available. One interesting thing that we'll have to check out is if you grab that mushroom, it puts you at risk of getting a 6 on the timer here. So we'll see how Skyhoppers handles that. Ooh, he gets a low 7. That is beautiful. That means it was a very good power-up grab, good stair climb, able to get the 7 on the timer, even with the power-up grab. So I'm talking about the timers a lot, and I'm talking about fireworks a lot. really what makes races so interesting is the disaster recovery or damage control strats that players have to adopt when things don't go quite right instead of just resetting. And one of those things is the fact that in this game, you generally don't have to think about the timer and the fireworks that often, because most levels, when played optimally, don't end up in fireworks. However, when you do something wrong, when you make a little bump, when you get hit, when you have to take a power-up and that kind of thing, suddenly that's throwing the expected result of the timer off. And then you have to pay more attention to it, and yeah, it's a lot more risky. So anyway, we're on to World 3 now. This race is flying by already. We're seeing different staircase strats there at the end. The Cole the 3-1 staircase is a little tricky with the Koopas on it. The Cole opting to jump up and shoot the Koopas, while Skyhoppers took a slightly safer jumping method. And then 3-2, really the main thing to watch out for this level is that it's got a lot of strange jumps where you have to jump over a set of enemies, and then you have a very small platform to land on before the edge. And so if you jump too far, you jump into a pit. If you jump too light, then you end up just landing on the last enemy and bouncing into the pit. So it looks a little bit less treacherous than it actually is. But neither runners had any accidents there, and now we're on the treetops. Skyhoppers did one of those jump through the bottom of a platform thing that I'm always too afraid to try. And we are still quite close here. On to Castle 3-4. Interesting Potaboo at the beginning of this castle. We'll see how they handle it. The Cole slows down just a tiny bit. I definitely agree with that strat for a race. The deal is that you can technically jump over that Potaboo if you do a pixel-perfect jump every time. However, if your jump is not pixel-perfect and the Potaboo decides to be a high flyer, then you can easily get hit there. Similarly, we've got a lot of Potaboos in 3-4, and you can jump under all of them, but it can be very, very treacherous. And I think a lot of runners would prefer to pay attention to what frame rule they're on to decide whether they're going to try jumping under them. But in a race, all that kind of researched frame rule data kind of goes out the window because of the nature of racing. But now we're on to 4-1. It's a nice breather after World 3. 4-1 is a very nice, just run right, shoot a few piranha plants, which you don't even have to do if you want to just clip through them due to their tiny little hitboxes. And then we're on to 4-2. And now, things get really exciting. 4-2, one of my favorite levels in the game, and we get to see who's top route, who's bottom route. The Cole representing bottom route. I love it. The bottom route, so much fun. One of the best levels in the game. Skyhoppers actually took an early death in the level, jumping at the treacherous early jumps in this level. What is nice, though, about any deaths or mistakes in 4-2 is that this level is also just stacked with power-ups. So you can always get back to Fire Mario pretty quickly if you take any hits in 4-2. It is unfortunate to take any hits, though, and Skyhoppers is going for the safety of the top route. Very understandable after an unexpected death. Now the Cole going for 4-3. There is Sky Boots potential in this level. I'm not exactly sure what the details on how to get it are. People have described it to me, and I've tried it, and I cannot seem to be consistent with it. But, I was going to say, the beginning of 4-4 also has some interesting strategy differences to look at on how to tackle it. The Cole went for technically the fastest way to do it, which is to basically open up like you would open 8-4, where you just run forward and you have like a short frame window to jump off the stair that you land on. And he gets a beautiful Bowser kill, moving on to World 5. Unscathed. Skyhoppers, will see how he handles the opening here. Also did the fastest method of the 8-4 opening, except for you have to do a smaller jump though so that you don't land in the pit. other strategies you may see people use is to buffer a jump to get Mario out of what we call, I don't know what actually people call it, low gravity Mario. This game has a very weird property where every time that the Mario spawns in, which is either at the beginning of a level or coming out of a pipe or something like that, gravity is actually lower on Mario until he jumps for the first time, which basically just makes it so when you run off of a pipe, run off of a staircase in the beginning or something, for some reason the Mario just falls really slowly. Again, this effect is canceled the first time that you jump, which a lot of the time is the first thing that you have to do anyway, so it's not very noticeable of a thing in the game. But anyway, that's why some people buffer a jump at the beginning of 4-4 is to cancel that out and fall quicker so that they can jump more easily. Anyway, we're at the beginning of 5-2. Nice! Oh no! Skyhoppers took, he recognized that the cannon at the beginning of the level tried to shoot him and very skillfully dodged it, however, then missed the jump into those girders, which can so easily happen. I've personally had so many runs end to that. That is just brutal. And then, oh, he got the worst spawn for Hammer Bros also, and ended up getting hit there. So a rough World 5 for Skyhoppers so far, as we can all relate to. World 5 is, I would definitely say, the most difficult run, world in a speed running context. As we're now seeing on the Cole side as he takes a hit at the end of 5-4. Between the Bowser shots coming, the fire bars, the Potaboos, that weird extra Bowser shot that he likes to shoot sometimes. World 5 at the very end is just so difficult to get through with your firepower. So level 6-1, you definitely see runners having to take power-ups on very frequently, and Skyhoppers with the 5-3! Brutal! So what happened there is there's a Goomba in that level that you have to stomp if you're going full speed in order to have both of the moving platforms spawn, which you need to have in order to survive the jump. And he made sure to bop the Goomba. However, then he got a really bad bill, which required him to have to jump onto the first platform, or jump over the bill in order to make the jump, which then gave him not enough distance to actually land on the second platform. So yes, and right, as Roy is pointing out in the chat, it isn't a 100% bop the Goomba or die. That's just kind of the canonical method that you generally see people use. So Skyhoppers got past the Hammer Bros in 5-2 and is moving on here. Gonna take fire right here. So 5-2 is another level that's pretty generous with power-ups, and again, as you're seeing, damage control, disaster recovery, you know, all of these things are so important in a race, and we're seeing Skyhoppers do a great job. Just an unfortunate game over in 5-3, but takes the continue, powers up, and is making it through as fast as possible. Let's see how 5-3 treats him this time. He bops the Goomba. Oh, does an early jump, or does a jump again, but there's another bad bill there which powered him down, but luckily did not drop him into the pit this time. The Cole, meanwhile, in 6-4, looks like the Cole has taken a bit of a safety strat at the beginning of 6-4. Basically, you can do a risky move at the beginning that gives you good bars, good fire bars, that is, that allow you to run through them much quicker. However, it's tough, and in a race setting, you might see a lot of runners opt to take the beginning a little bit more safely, which then causes a few fire bars to stand in their way. But if it stops you from taking damage, if it stops you from dying, it may just be worth it, which it appears to be, as Cole is now cruising through 7-1 with firepower, nothing standing in his way. These bros... Oh, that was beautiful! That bro tried to drop down on him, tried to give him some sass, but the Cole just... Oh, that bro didn't know what hit him. All right, and Skyhoppers running through 6-1 now. taking the power-ups as we so frequently need to. Very, very skillful, quick power-up grab there, jumping through the spinies that Lakitu is throwing out, and manages to get that low 7 on the timer. Beautiful. Didn't get a 6, didn't have to wait for a 5. The beautiful low 7. And now the Cole is moving through 7-2. 7-2 is a very critical level in the speedrun, since there is only one power-up between you and level 8-2 when you're in 7-2. If you get hit in 7-2, you're not going to see firepower again until 8-2, if everything goes well and you choose to take those power-ups. So that's why you might see speedrunners with some mighty careful stepping along that around that last bend, with that sneaky, sassy blooper that likes to hang out at the last pipe there. And he makes it through with firepower, so he is sitting pretty right now, but we'll see if these cheeps allow him to pass through. Meanwhile, Skyhoppers making short work of World 6 over on the right. More bullet bills in World 6-3. But they do tend to be just a little bit nicer than 5-3s are. All right. Short hops over the little bridge there, collecting all those coins with style, and a perfect 240 on the timer for the Cole on 7-3. Now, Skyhoppers, let's see how he handles this intro to 6-4 like I was talking about. Looks like he is also going for safety strats. That means that there's going to be just a couple fire bars in his way, like this one. And these guys tend to close in like that, very, very brutally. But it is safer if you know to just be a little patient with it. And that was just a beautiful Bowser kill by Skyhoppers as well. So he'll be getting into World 7 now. Whoa! The Cole with a baseball slide under the Bowser. Turn around, blasting him with fire. That was just a beautiful, beautiful 7-4 as well. So the Cole is into World 8 now, and here is exactly where it pays off what I was talking about, keeping fire in 7-2 and 7-3, because now it is very safe to beat level 8-1 as fast as possible. There are a lot of different strategies to go about level 8-1. There are different ways to beat the level with a perfect 200 on the timer. However, definitely the safest way is going to be to have firepower. And so we will see him just happily hold right and B, except when he needs to shoot fire bars, or fireballs, that is, and press A where he needs to end that level very quickly. All right. Skyhoppers now running through level 7-2. Yes, I was going to say, I believe he probably initiated the duck swim technique. Ooh, the Cole takes a hit at the opening of 8-2. That is pretty rough, as this level does have... I'm really pegging my Mario processor in my brain here, trying to remember if there's a second power-up in this level. I think there is, but it's really slow to get. So we will likely see him finish out the level just as Big Mario and pick up fire in 8-3 if he so chooses. Looks like he thought about going for Bullet Bill glitch there, but it wasn't quite happening. If there is a second one in 8-2, I think it's in a sub-zone. But if I'm thinking about the sub-zone correctly, I don't think it does have a power-up. But yes. And then there's 2 in 8-3, exactly, if he chooses to fire up here or just go through big. It looks like he is opting for the fire. Meanwhile, Skyhoppers is firing back up in 7-3. However, the power-up grab messed up his Mario momentum and ended up plunging him into the pit. So that was quite unfortunate. The Cole can cruise through the rest of 8-3 here now with firepower. Missing that 6 on the timer. Skyhoppers back powered up. Oh my gosh, that was the most brutal thing! Oh, the cheeps! Oh my gosh. Skyhoppers had the cheeps turned the Koopa around on him in 7-3. They add Koopas to the level that the cheeps can turn around if they bump them as they come up. And they turned the Koopa around, and then turned it around again on him, messing up his jump, sending him into the pit. That was so brutal. Hopefully he can make it through 7-4 now without any more of that kind of trolly stuff happening, so that he can get into World 8 safely, since he is on 1 Mario now. Meanwhile, the Cole is in the home stretch of the game, the water section. We'll see how he handles his Hammer Bro and his Bowser. It looks like he's going to safely slow down for the Potaboo. Very safe. Run under the Bowser. And there it is, a 2012 on the timer for the Cole. Good game. Skyhopper getting to his Bowser. Nice forward jumping Bowser. Slips right under him. And Skyhoppers is going to be moving on to World 8 now. Excellent. Excellent performance from the Cole. And Skyhoppers, meanwhile, trucking along here. And I'm looking forward to seeing how he handles 8-1 as small Mario here, since, as I was talking about, there are different strategies to get through 8-1, but if you're small, 100%, I would agree with the idea that there's a few places that you just need to slow your Mario down just a little bit in order to save yourself a lot of headache in a racing environment. So, there he goes, and it looks like we have the Cole here in the commentary booth. Hello.
Okay,
Yep.
sorry. Can you repeat? I wasn't wearing headphones, so I wasn't able to hear you.
I was just saying hello, and how are you doing?
I mean, I won. That's the only thing that matters. Today I wasn't really. I mean, I finished working like 10 minutes before starting the race, so I didn't have time to really prepare.
Oh, sure.
And also I'm actually quite tired. I still have to do dinner, so I'm in a bit of a clunky situation now, so just manage, you know what, I'm not gonna try anything stupid, anything risky, just manage to survive, and if I get a bad time, doesn't care, I just wanna win, and don't wanna take any chance of doing something stupid. Today, my only goal today was to win. And I know that all the top players are doing amazing time. I did a pretty bad time compared to them, but I don't care. Today, my only goal was to win. Even with a bad time, I don't really care.
For sure. As far as your time is concerned, I mean, I would definitely argue that 2012 is a great race time. If you can get that consistently, that's going to win a lot of races. Now, when we do get into the later rounds, and it is the top people, I imagine we're going to see a lot of sub-20s. But 2012 is a perfectly good race time.
Considering that I played super safe, the mistake I made, yes, it's overall a good time. Consider I played super safe. I didn't take any risk at all. Zero risk. I played super safe. So yeah, I consider that as a good time, and I got what my goal was to survive today, and I did it. So good.
Yeah, absolutely. And Skyhoppers nails the wall jump, by the way. Just had to shout that out.
Oh, I got the pixel, but
So, with your victory here, that means that in the next round, you're going to be facing me. So, how do you feel about that? I'm feeling a little bit nervous. So, any nervousness that you show will only make me feel a little better.
I mean, compare your race with my race, I don't think that...
I want to say I got 2013 on my last race.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's gonna be a good one. Okay, Skyhoppers won if I finish the race.
Yep.
I probably have to schedule it a better time. In a weekend, preferably, so that I'm not forced to play like exactly 10 minutes after work, so I can do a sort of warm up. I can maybe have dinner. I can prepare a little better, not rushing.
For sure. Good.
I'm not really forced to play super safe because with not one fingers, you don't really want to try anything risky. I mean, I play all the castles super safe, even too much safe. especially 6-4. That was even too safe, and indeed, the bars in the end didn't end up to collaborate. I had to slow down farther and actually react. I reacted there really well, honestly. And also in 7-1, I played super safe at the Hammer Brothers, and I slowed down, and I remember that, Hammer Brother was stomping me, and then I pressed fire, and the Hammer Brothers magically died. I was prepared to okay, I lost. Oh, I survived. Okay, good.
Yeah, and let me tell you, there was a big reaction to that move. That was super, super cool. Yeah, and I wanted to go back to something you said a minute ago about warm up, about having a meal and all that. I think one thing that a lot of people underestimate is just, how stressful the race environment is. I mean, getting a good night's sleep, being hydrated, having some warm up, not being on an empty stomach. All of these things are a huge part of racing, because it's a hard thing to do.
Yeah, definitely. If you want to compete at high levels, the preparation myself needs to be better. Otherwise, I'm gonna lose the next one. If I repeat something like that, I'm gonna lose the next one for sure. So, because from now on, I mean, I think that the level is so high that you can truly lose against anything else. So I don't really. I mean, I don't feel more nervous facing you rather than someone else. I feel nervous the same because, I mean, the level is so high, and, if you nail a 1930 in the next IGG, what I can do about that? You could, so,
Yeah, for sure.
So that's the fun part of the race, actually. Especially in a format like this where everything can happen. I mean, and last year, I think that the everything can happen jingle can apply really well.
Yeah.
Especially for concern myself. So,
Absolutely. Super Mario Bros. Is a very hard game where there are a lot of things between you and a good time. And the people who have the best PBs, these are people who have put hundreds and thousands of attempts into the game. It takes a long time to get a good PB, which means every individual one of those runs, if you take that in a race context, it's a really hard game with a lot of variance.
Oh, right. I'm actually, now that I see my time, actually pretty good time, honestly. Consider everything, my time is pretty good, so. I mean, considered everything. I mean, absolute terms, it's what it is, but I'm okay with this race. I'm satisfied. So, GG, of course, to Skyhoppers. I mean, I don't think the Skyhoppers really. I don't know if I never saw him streaming really lately, so I don't know if he did or And I remember last time we raced, the races were pretty close. So because we actually faced the round one, and the previous tournament we faced round one exactly like this one, and those races were close.
Yeah, so, absolutely. Skyhoppers is a great runner with a good PB, and his race that he was putting up was good. There were a few really nasty moments that happened to him between just really bad bullet bill shots versus really bad cheaps in the cheap jumping levels. I mean, it was definitely some RNG that really was stacked against him there.
Yeah, if the game decides to go hard, you can punish you in 10 million ways, from cheap chips to bad bloppers. There are so many ways that this game can punish you, and I think that this is more a reaction race. Rather than being good at strats, having a great PB, what really matters is reacting to bad situations. That's the number one quality you need to have to compete.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's one thing that I was kind of touching on way earlier during the race, when I was saying that when people are going for PB attempts and stuff, some people will actually have spreadsheets of frame rule data and RNG data so that they can predict what's happening, and all that goes straight out the window when you're in a race situation. So it's a lot less predictable.
I could do it, but I mean, I don't want to take like track like 100 frame rules just for a race. You know, I mean, there's a risk that I mean, if you track like the 100 frame rule, and you do it wrong, it's even worse. So let's just react to what happens.
Right,
But,
absolutely.
for me, of course. There's skyhoppers, by the way, here.
Yes,
So,
yes, we
GG.
see skyhoppers in now.
GG, guy, Sky.
Yeah, GG. That was good. 2016. What was it? Your time?
My timer says 2012. Which is an okay
2012.
time.
Nice.
Yep,
Okay.
2016 SRL time. Very, very good race. And how are you feeling, skyhoppers?
I mean, I could have played a lot better, but honestly, I'm not too upset about it. I need to practice a lot before my next round, but yeah, I just felt like I played really good in sections, and then I made massive mistakes at the worst time. So yeah, like my World 5 was a complete disaster, and that's the worst world to have a disaster on.
For sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, I mean, it's fine. I know that if I practice, I can come back and get race times that are, 21:20 consistently.
Yeah,
practice.
Yeah, and as far as World 5 goes, I mean, you can bet that that I had your back in the commentary booth as far as just real unlucky bullet bill shots and just how
Yeah.
difficult the world is in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I can give a little advice, the best way to somehow reduce the variance is to try to play at maximum speed as fast as you can, because if you do then at the Goomba where you have to stomp, you know that the bullet bill is never gonna spawn in a very awful position, because if the bullet bill spawns very close to the Goomba, you have to stomp him, and then there's no way you're gonna hit him no matter what. So a good way to avoid that, but then there are still a lot of things can go wrong, is to play the level at full speed. If you play the level at full speed, you always know when the bullet bills are going to shoot, so you can react a little bit better.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a little I mean.
Yeah, no, thank you. That does help.
Yeah, and
of
then
course, it's only just a bit. Of course, if you're very unlucky, very second bullet bill, sometimes you just have to slow down, and when that happens, there's nothing you can do. Then things become,
yeah. And then one other thing we saw, Sky, I mean, there were a few moments like that, but also that, when in 7-3, when the Chiefs turned the Koopa around and then turned it around again and just went all wacky there. That was just brutal.
Yeah, and that was the
really
second
lucky.
bad thing that happened. The first one was I was jumping, I was, right about to jump off the platform. I just I got in fire back, I think, is what happened. And then, one came up from beneath the bridge like a few frames before I jumped, and so I was in the air, and so I just went right off the ledge. I don't think that's happened to me more than a couple times ever, even in practice.
Yep.
But at that point, the race had already kind of been lost, so I wasn't too upset about it.
Yeah, you gotta love when those situations come up that you just never
Shake
even
your
see
head at,
in a PB setting. All right. Well, it was a great race to watch, and the Cole is going to be moving on to face me in the next round, while Skyhoppers is moving on to face KT the Creeper down in the bonus bracket.
Oh, I don't even know who that is.
Mm-hmm.
Exciting.
Time to go do some research.
Yeah, really. All right, thanks everyone. I'll see you in the next one. GG again, Call.
GG Sky.
I'm sure you'll go crazy far in this tournament, just like the last one. So, see ya.
Hopefully. I hope. I do my best, and it is what it is. Thank you very much.
Yep, thanks, guys. And for everybody watching, definitely stick around today. We've got more races coming up later. Later today at 10 p.m. Eastern, we've got Tecate versus London B. Two excellent runners, should be a very good race. And then only an hour after that, at 11 Eastern, we've got a double doozy. We've got 50% Gaming versus Roy at the same time as I'm Dangerous. is going up against Alden. So lots more Mario tonight. Thanks so much for watching now, and I hope I will see you guys later in those as well. Thanks again. Have a
Thanks
good
to you,
day.
Dash, for the commentary by everyone.
My pleasure.
Bye bye.